All right, we're back. Welcome back to the channel. We got Ned back with us. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. I'm just chilling. It's good to see you again this week.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. So today we're going to talk about the one thing. So I've been listening to this audiobook called The One Thing. It's by I think it's Gary Keller, the guy who owns Keller Williams, the real estate company. And I haven't finished it yet. I've read maybe like 20 minutes, and it's already made me change one thing in my day to day in my weekly tasks. So as I've told you, I don't think I've told the people on YouTube, but I started to work on a property management software with uh, with my wife because she's a product manager and I'm a developer, software developer. So we thought it'd be a good fit. And me being in real estate, it's I know about property management, and I'm in the midst of managing properties now. So I thought, it's a perfect match. But then as I'm going through this book, I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm spreading myself thin here. I'm trying to do this property management thing, and then I'm doing real estate after I'm working 9 to 5, and then I'm doing like running marathons and stuff, like doing these daily runs. So I decided to scrap that at least for now, right? So I removed that from my calendar. But then it got me thinking even deeper, because in the book it says, well, do the 20% that gets the 80% of the results, but then keep going deeper until you get to the one thing that you need to do at least either daily or weekly or so on. So that got me thinking, well, I work 9 to 5, I have a regular job. Should that be my one thing? And then I have the real estate side hustle, the two properties that I have, and then after work I do rehabs and management. Should that be my thing? Should I stop running? Should I stop working out because that's taking time away and energy from my one thing, right? So yeah, I'm going
sounds like
into
sounds like you went down a rabbit hole, man.
yeah, I did. So I think I'm out of that rabbit hole now, but I wanted to get your advice on what you think about that concept and that book, and I'm sure you've read it, and I still haven't finished it yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I I read that book years ago. I think I've actually read it twice. And I was in a similar place because I've had effectively three, if not four startups, because one of them didn't really get off the ground. But while I was doing those startup businesses, I didn't have a one thing. And that was probably my biggest shortcoming. And if you've read the book, he kind of says, 80-20 principle, you're going to get 80% of your results from focusing on 20% of the stuff you got to do. You just kind of
Mhm.
keep on doing that and your
Yep.
results get exponential. Which makes total sense, but you can obviously go too far with that. You don't want to become like a monk who
Mhm.
only does programming and then you can't feed yourself because that's
You don't
not your one
shower, you
thing.
don't save, you don't do anything. You just do one thing all day, right?
But yeah, for me, the issue was primarily I was working full time. I had a startup. Um, and I did this three times. And during the last two of them, I had real estate investments. So that was three things. And then while I was doing those three things, I was also I've got my personal hobbies, and I was also like trying to do bodybuilding and powerlifting, but like at like way too serious of a level. So same fitness issue you've got. So I've got all these different things I'm doing, and I came to realize that looking back on it, the one thing is kind of a resource allocation thing, at least for me.
Hmm.
And with the amount of money I lost on all my startups, the startups were a big gamble for me. Whereas whenever I looked at real estate, I knew how to do it because I did it once because I house hacked, and I was like, this isn't that hard. And then all of the real estate, I mean, all the real estate deals I've done, I've been very analytical and have worked out pretty well. And if they don't work out well, it's like, oh, it didn't make as much money, or maybe it didn't make money because I had to do repairs or something like that. But it never just made no money. I've never had that happen. But that is very easy to do with a business.
Oh yeah.
And then businesses have employees. So I went through and I was just you know, I'm a glutton for punishment. So I went back, and I'm not going to share the actual number, but it's a lot. It's several 100,000, well, 100,000 or more, that I lost to salaries and all of those equipment expenses and rents and just leasing your space and leasing
Yep.
equipment and all that other stuff. And if I had taken all of those things I spent money on and put all of that straight into real estate or helping myself learn and build and focus on that business, my portfolio would be at least 3 times the size it is now. I'm not gonna, like, you know, Monday morning quarterback myself,
Yeah, yeah.
because I learned a lot from those businesses, and I wouldn't go back and do it again, and I wouldn't take it back.
Mm-hmm.
But I did gain a lot from those experiences. But I didn't have a one thing. If I had just focused on real estate, I'd be much further. Or if I had probably just focused on one of those businesses and not had the other three, because that's the sad part, those almost got to cash flow twice. Two of them did.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got distracted because we didn't have the one thing. And so
Yep.
I go back and I look at all the reasons that these things either failed or didn't do as well as they could have. It was because I wasn't solely focused on that, not at the exclusion of my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to have a business or an investment, just do the thing. And I think that people get trapped by this idea of, like, oh, millionaires have 6 different incomes or whatever that weird quote is. Have you heard that?
Yeah, but
Millionaires,
they didn't start with
they
6.
don't start that way.
Yeah.
They don't. They get this huge amount of income from a business, and then they're like, well, I have all this cash now. I can't keep reinvesting in my business because it doesn't need it.
Too much risk in one asset, so you
So
gotta
I'll
spread
just
it
put
out.
it
Yeah.
over here. And then they're like, I have a bunch of money, and it'd be irresponsible not to know what or how to do stuff with it. So then they start learning about all those other things. And that's just doesn't make sense until you've figured out your one thing, you know?
Yep.
So that's kind of my thought on it. It's more of a focus. It doesn't mean that you don't go to the gym. It doesn't mean that you don't spend time with your family. It doesn't mean that you cut all those things out, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to be a hermit, at least in my opinion. Some people,
Yeah.
you might need a season of that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the what I got from it, and what I think think what the book is trying to say is basically your non-negotiables, right? The stuff that you need to survive and to be a normal human, I guess. Your health, even your job is part of that, because you cannot pursue other ventures if you have no income, and then you can't support yourself. So the
Yeah.
way I see it, when uh when all of that is taken care of, then you got to focus on just one thing. So even this YouTube thing that I'm doing and that you're doing as well, well, if you really think about it, this is part of the one thing for me and for you, which is
Yeah.
real estate. This can be networking, this can be learning, and a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into the one thing, which is real estate for us. So that's where I'm taking it. That's what I got from it. And yeah, that's and I suggest others to do the same. I think it would definitely help to stay focused with the one thing. So
I mean, I've also found the reason I started doing the real estate thing is I've always learned better by trying to teach people,
mhm.
and I really enjoy it. Like I've taught, I've teached. I've worked with a couple of younger investors locally, and I really, really enjoy the process of going through, like, the basics and all that other stuff. But the problem is the volume's super low, and then you work with 1 or 2 people, and then, or let's just say 10 people, and then one of them comes back for the second time. And the person who comes back, it's the, like, 10% of people who actually make it to you, that actually start to apply things that really get anywhere. And I just feel like I can get to more people. And personally, in a selfish way, I feel like I can learn faster because I can maybe be pointed out where I'm wrong on things by more, because I'm getting my information out there more and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Well said. All right. Well, that is it for this video. Tell the people where they can find you, or I'll tell them. It's Ned Talks on YouTube. Follow him. Give him some likes. He has some good content. And yeah, that is all. Thank you for watching.
Have a good day, man.